Ladies and gentlemen, please scan the QR code on the screen to record your attendance for this session. Our session will begin shortly. Please make sure you mute your microphone while the session is in progress. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yang berbahagia, Dr. RAFEE bin Cik KASSIM, Deputy Director General of Education Malaysia for Teacher Professional Development, Ministry of Education Malaysia. Yang berusaha, Dr. Rusmini binti Ku Ahmad, Rector of Institute of Teacher Education Malaysia, Yang Berusaha Dr. Muhammad Nasruddin bin Basar, Deputy Rector of Planning, Research and Innovation Center, Institute of Teacher Education Malaysia. Yang Berusaha Tuan Haji Muhammad Zain bin Badwi, Director of Institute of Teacher Education, Temenggung Ibrahim Campus. Distinguished guests, and last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the International Conference on Teacher Learning and Development, ICTLD 2021, and to the keynote speaker session today. Ladies and gentlemen, on this blessed afternoon, let us seek blessings from the Almighty for a smooth session. To lead our recitation of Dua today, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Dr. Suhaimi bin Muhammad. Viewers of other religions are humbly requested to pray silently. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good day. للنبي الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه الكرام شيء لله لهم الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين، وسلم رضي الله تبارك وتعالى عن كل أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أجمعين. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما، وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. اللهم اجعلنا من التوابين من الراشدين ومن عبادك الصالحين ومن عبادك الشاكرين. اللهم اجعلنا من الناجحين والفائزين في الدين والدنيا والآخرة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, highest gratitude to you for allowing us to have the International Conference on Teacher Learning and Development for the year 2021 today. Ya Fa'alu lima yurid, all sublimity is for you at every incline, and all praise is for you at all times under all conditions. Ya Allah, we seek your assistance and humbly ask your guidance, and we beseech your forgiveness and return to you in repentance. We cherish faith in you and place our trust in you. We attribute all goodness to you, and we are grateful to you. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram. أصحابه أجمعين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين، وسلم رضي الله تبارك وتعالى عن كل أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أجمعين. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما، وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. اللهم اجعلنا من التوابين من الراشدين ومن عبادك الصالحين ومن عبادك الشاكرين. اللهم اجعلنا من الناجحين والفائزين في الدين والدنيا والآخرة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, highest gratitude to you for allowing us to have the International Conference on Teacher Learning and Development for the year 2021 today. Ya Fa'alu lima yurid, all sublimity is for you at every incline, and all praise is for you at all times, under all conditions. Ya Allah, we seek your assistance and humbly ask your guidance, and we beseech your forgiveness and return to you in repentance. We cherish faith in you and place our trust in you. We attribute all goodness to you, and we are grateful to you. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram, make all of us as your servants who will strive for excellence, will embrace our performance and enhance our potential in the area of management, academic, or even personal skills, persistently and diligently. Ya Allah, Ya Wadud, of grace we ask you of this perfection and of protection its duration, and of mercy its completion. We ask for its comfort, and of life its happiness, and of virtue its completion, and of blessing its totally, and graciousness its sweetness, and of benevolence the nearest. Ya Shakur, Ya Ghafur, bless our determination to fulfill the needs and demands of the national education system in line with the area of transformation. Give us blessing on our efforts, which will upsurge our beloved profession and become a respected and a revered profession. ربنا تقبل منا دعاءنا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. تقبل الله منك.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Yang Berusaha, Dr. Suhaimi bin Muhammad, for leading our dua today. Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed, please allow me to share with you our keynote speaker's background. Yang Berbahagia, Dr. Ahmad Rafee bin Cik KASSIM is currently the Deputy Director General of Education Malaysia for Teacher Professional Development in Ministry of Education Malaysia. He obtained his Doctor of Philosophy from University of Missouri, Columbia, United States of America, in Information Science and Learning Technologies. He started his career as a teacher in 1993. Throughout his 28 years of service, he has held several important positions in the ministry, such as Senior Assistant for Administration at SMK Sungai Bayo, Perak, and Senior Lecturer at Institute Aminuddin Baki. Later, he became the head of center at the same institute and was promoted as the director of Institute Aminuddin Baki, Genting Highlands. He was promoted as Deputy Director of Educational Planning and Policy Research Division, or EPRD, in 2015. He became the Director of EPRD on September 12, 2018. On August 19, 2019, he was promoted as Deputy Director General of Education Malaysia for school operational until December 22, 2019. Yang Berbahagia Dr. Ahmad Rafee bin Cik KASSIM had delivered many keynote speeches before, and now we are indeed grateful to be given this opportunity to have him here with us this afternoon. Without further ado, I would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Dr. Ahmad Rafee bin Cik KASSIM, Deputy Director General of Education Malaysia for Teacher Professional Development, Ministry of Education Malaysia, to deliver his keynote speech. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Alhamdulillah, I would like to express my highest gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to gather virtually at the 5th International Conference on Teacher Learning and Development, or ICTLD 2021. I would also like to take the opportunity to congratulate the Institute of Teacher Education Malaysia and the Institute of Teacher Education Temanggung Ibrahim Campus for co-organizing the ICTLD this year, which carries the theme Empowering a Learning Society for Sustainability Through Quality Education. I'm honored and delighted to share this theme with the floor. A learning society is essential to sustain the livelihood in the modern world. Quality education acts as the empowering agent to achieving a learning society that would enable this sustainability, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic era. In this keynote, I will focus on what a learning society is, and I will talk about quality education and its relation to sustainable development goals, STEM education, social sciences, humanities, and linguistics. Then I will highlight the challenges of COVID-19 and how educators have addressed these challenges. Last but not least, I will talk about the elements of success in empowering a learning society. Ladies and gentlemen, the learning society is an environment in which the plurality of actors contribute to the construction of shared knowledge in a continuous and procedural perspective, whether individual or collective, and in all areas of society, according to Fabella 2005. Learning society is an educational philosophy that positions education as the key to a nation's economic development and holds that education should extend beyond formal learning into informal learning centers to support a knowledgeable economy known as the world education culture. A learning society regards the actual process of learning as an activity, not a place, which means that it takes place outside of traditional educational institutions and thus also decentralized and deregulated, a tenet of globalization theory. I am delighted to note that some of the papers that are going to be presented at this conference, including the research on knowledge management as a basis of teaching and learning innovation, center around the theme Innovation in Education as an effective strategy to achieve national progress. One success story that can be seen through the life of a teacher trained at the Institute of Teacher Education, Cikgu Samuel Assaya, who had bonded with his indigenous students and embraced their culture. Cikgu Samuel has been awarded with the Best Teacher Award at the ASEAN ELT Conference 2018, Best Innovative Teachers 2018, the Star Golden Hearts Award 2019, the National Hero Teacher Award 2019, and 2020 Global Teacher Prize finalist. He had turned things around for the Orang Asli children at Sekolah Kebangsaan Runcang in Pekan Pahang with his unique teaching methods. Congratulations, Cikgu Samuel. The Learning Society is currently aided through digital technology and the increasing focus on social networking by using the shared learning experiences of individuals as a basis for a more extensive network of education that exists formally and informally at schools, universities, job training, support services, etc., etc. Learning societies are broader in context, drawing on systems to facilitate lifelong learning at the individual level. If lifelong learning is about the individual's ability, this is enabled through a learning society. It is the socialization of individual lifelong learning. According to Irina Bokova, the Director General of UNESCO, quality basic education is the necessary foundation in the complex and rapidly changing world. Quality education is about what and how people learn, its relevance to today's world and global challenges, and its influence on people's choices. Many agree that quality education for sustainability and sustainable development reinforces people's sense of responsibility as global citizens, better prepare them for the world they will inherit. I will not elaborate on quality education as this will be discussed further by Professor Dr. Yu Swen Zheng, one of our respected plenary speakers from the National Chun Cheng University of Taiwan, and other presenters. Furthermore, under the Shared Prosperity Vision 2030, it is our commitment to make Malaysia a nation that achieves sustainable growth along with fair and equitable distribution. Hence, education must focus on preparing skillful, productive, and effective human capital which meets the demands of the new economy. To achieve this vision, as stated in the National Education Blueprint 2015-2025, the Ministry of Education has emphasized on TVET and outcome-based education to create a learning society that produces skilled and competent workers equipped for the latest development and technology. Ladies and gentlemen, education is key to the Integrated Global Framework of Sustainable Development Goals, or SDG. Education is at the heart of our efforts to adapt, change, and transform the world we live in today. Our children have the right to basic education. Education is also a necessary means for sustainable development. It provides a critical construct where the perceived tensions between economic, social, and environmental development can be harmonized and integrated into a single concept and pursuit of sustainable well-being for all. This goes beyond education being named as a single SDG, thus requiring a better understanding of education's role as a cross-cutting means of implementation to strengthen achievement across many other goals. The SDGs call on governments to take a fresh look at the content of education. According to EFA Global Monitoring Report in 2015, education will be essential for sustainable development agenda where success relies on individuals throughout their lifetime, acquiring relevant knowledge and developing positive attitudes to address global challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, as the world progresses into a complex technological future, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM education is crucial in ensuring that education stays relevant, and thus it is among the focus under the National Education Blueprint 2013-2025. The early results were a success as a mean score for mathematics and science performance in PISA 2018 was higher than the performance observed in 2009 and 2012. Improvements were observed in general amongst both high and low achieving students, but advances in mathematics were solid amongst the country's highest achieving students. At the 90th percentile, performance improved by about 17 score points per 3-year period. This increase in students' performance can be linked to the students' interests, as in TIMSS 2019 reported that 92% of the surveyed students were interested in science and 77% showed interest in maths. STEM ties in with many of the current teaching and learning ideologies, such as the 21st century learning skills, which focus on critical thinking and problem-solving abilities. This ICTLD advocates the inclusion of collaborative learning, problem-solving, ICT, critical thinking, and creative thinking. For more in-depth discussion on this, there will be a presentation entitled 21st Century Professional Learning for Teachers in Malaysia. We are also honored to have our respected speaker, Dr. Greg Burnett from James Cook University, Australia, to enlighten us on the 21st century education in his plenary session later on. Essential STEM knowledge will propel developments and innovations necessary to sustain our livelihood in the changing global economy. STEM is mentioned as a specific initiative to increase students' interest, improve teachers' knowledge and skills, and increase awareness and acculturation. The Ministry of Education Malaysia has made a lot of efforts to promote STEM to date, which include, first, increasing students' interest through STEM online challenge, STEM applications and web portals, and STEM Students Index. Secondly, increasing teachers' knowledge and skills through workshops, such as the APEC STEM Plus Education Workshop in the National Taiwan Normal University in Taipei in 2019, and other online platforms such as in this conference. Thirdly, increasing awareness and culturation through carnival-like events with STEM talks, exhibition, and competitions at strategic locations throughout the country. One of the studies, the impact of STEM education in teaching learning process, which will be presented in this ICTLD, will show that STEM education has a good impact on teaching learning process, and students who learn through STEM education approach became more creative and innovative. Without a doubt, STEM education puts students' experiences and knowledge in their real world at the forefront. As a result of the initiatives on STEM education, MOE's Educational Research and Planning Divisions reported in 2020 that there's an increase in Malaysian students' enrollment in STEM from 43.7% in 2019 to 47.12% in 2020. We hope with the increasing trend in STEM enrollment, the next generation will not only be consumers of technology, but aspire to be inventors or innovators for its future. Ladies and gentlemen, alongside STEM education, the social sciences, humanities, and linguistics, which are part of this conference sub-theme, are vital in preserving the national unique culture, tradition, and philosophy that made up of diverse ethnicity. While the country progresses towards a developed country, the nation's identity and pride as a multi-racial community have to be safeguarded against the changing times. For example, linguistics offers a unique combination of humanistic and scientific concern. The discipline of language learning, counseling, and instructional design are rich opportunities that could be utilized to bring together the community and society into one strong nation. A broadened understanding of education, practice across disciplines, in this instance STEM education, social sciences, humanities, and linguistics, creates a robust mechanism for supporting social learning or change, enabling synergies between education and other critical elements of an enabling environment, including lifelong learning, professional career development, community learning, and public participation. Our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Stephen J. Hall from Sunway University, Malaysia, will elaborate more on community and society in the post-COVID-19 era in his plenary session. Ladies and gentlemen, prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the socio-economic gap decreased from 4.5% in 2017 to 3.5% in 2018. The national preschool enrollment increased from 84.3% in 2017 to 85.4% in 2018. However, as we are all aware, our country is presently still facing challenges in various aspects due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, the Malaysian SDG, which includes the human rights to peaceful and inclusive societies and access to good healthcare and quality education, are at risk. Access to a clean, sustainable environment, such as clean water and sanitation, is also at risk, requiring creative solutions. Nevertheless, the COVID-19 pandemic and future threats cannot deter us from performing our duties and responsibilities as educators to the highest standard possible. A show of resilience and determination was shown in the recent result from the 2020 Malaysian Certificate of Examination, or SPM. The result show an improvement of 0.06 points in the national average grade from 4.86 in 2019 to 4.80 in 2020. Considering the fact that schools were closed for 110 days in 2020, the recent SPM result has proven that educators and students alike could excel amidst adversity. Ladies and gentlemen, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, reported that by end of March 2020, 46 countries all over the world had closed some or all of their schools. Thus, various measures were taken to ensure continuity of education. Learning continued via online platforms, TV and radio broadcasts, and instructional packages. In South Korea, online learning started almost immediately after school closure due to the pandemic in April 2020. Classes were either real-time interactive classes, online homework-based classes, or classes with recorded contents. Similarly, Malaysia had almost immediately embarked on online learning in April 2020, though there were also initiatives for teachers to prepare instructional packages for students with limited connectivity. In the handbook by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology of Japan, or MAX, entitled Education in Japan Beyond the Crisis of COVID-19, published in September 2020, highlighted other measures apart from online learning, like staggering attendance, redesigning timetables, and shortening long vacations. In addition, Max mentioned a special measure where learning contents are moved to complete the curricula. Malaysia had also applied some of these measures. For example, the Institute of Teacher Education, or IPG, had moved all courses to online platform, and certain courses that require physical activities to a different semester to fulfill the curriculum needs effectively. Based on the news highlight in the newspapers and social media, it is undeniably that educators, be it teachers or lecturers, set out to convey and disseminate knowledge to the students continuously and tirelessly in this pandemic. In other words, with solid determination and endeavor, teachers have become more vigilant and resourceful on alternative means to reach out to the students, be it by digital technology, using various applications effectively, such as Google Classroom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, and supplemented by other social media applications, such as Facebook, WhatsApp, and Telegram, or to reach the students in remote areas by boat, by 4x4 trucks, and so on. Therefore, education field can no longer ignore the importance of diverse technologies in enabling the continuity of learning despite the constraints posed by the pandemic worldwide. We look forward for a session by Honorable Speaker Professor Dr. Masakazu Teragaito from Hiroshima University, Japan, that will delve deeper into the best practices of teaching and learning in his plenary session later on. The COVID-19 pandemic has somehow made our teachers and educators more adept and able to master and implement online teaching and learning methods. The new pedagogical deep learning or capacity pedagogy pembelajaran bermakna KPPB is one of the innovative programs encapsulating multiple fields of interdisciplinary learning introduced by the Institute of Teacher Education, or the IPG. The KPPB fulfills the needs of lifelong learning and career development. Even in this pandemic, the student teachers in IPG are capable of networking and learning from online communities of experienced educators under KPPB. The Ministry of Education Malaysia has collaborated with technology providers like Google, Microsoft, and Apple to provide a more robust digital learning experience for educators and their students, especially through the LIMA platform, which stands for Digital Education Learning Initiative Malaysia. The use of the LIMA ensures access to the latest, relevant, and interactive teaching and learning resources and showcases how technology plays a vital role in Malaysia's digital transformation. As a result, the use of technology has progressed from enhancing the educators' practice to expanding their teaching capacity and generating constructive networking locally as well as globally, thus allowing time on higher value activities that deepen and enrich students' engagement with content. The credit goes to all teachers and educators. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, the word empowering means making great, superior, strong, famous, sovereign, and dominant. In line with the Malaysian Education Blueprint 2013-2025, the MOE has made the effort to empower the schools and teachers in Malaysia through various initiatives. One of the initiatives is to create a number of trust schools since 2013. Trust schools are empowered with decision-making power in the administration of the school's curriculum, finance, and human resource. The Malaysian Education Blueprint also aims to empower the future generation with the knowledge and skills needed to stay aligned with global trends and succeed in the complex and ever-changing future where automation of knowledge is inevitable. Hence, teachers, empowered as facilitators and motivators for learning, can empower the students in turn. With this empowerment, the future generation will become superior and solid world leaders and citizens. Hence, educators have responsibility in realizing a learning society, advocating learning as a lifelong learning process. How does this work? Allow me to share some scenarios. 1. Give your student a voice through forums for students' feedback. Setting up a forum for students to provide constructive and timely feedback, criticism, or praise through mediums like Google Docs, Twitter, Edmodo, blog, etc. This will help educators to improve their teaching. It also helps students by emphasizing that learning is about partnership and working together. Second, give students decision-making power in an area of the curriculum. This situation is to create a sense of ownership over the learning process. Third, put yourself in the sandbox. Jump into work with students and then they will start to work with their own, they will start to work on their own and get the concept reinforced. Fourth, encourage meaningful technology. As mentioned earlier, online classes, be it via Google Meet, WhatsApp, Telegram, Skype, WebEx, live streaming, and etc., are not new. Learning can happen anytime and anywhere. In other words, learning does not just happen within the four walls of the classroom. And number 5, involve students in real issues. They will be more motivated to learn further because they can directly see its impact. They are learning to help others instead of just working towards some lofty, seemingly distant goal of graduating and going to college. It is not extreme to say that the importance of empowering students today is a solution for the future. For example, this year, VJ, anak lelaki Ravi Chandran, an IPGK Temenggung Ibrahim student, along with 3 other student teachers from IPGK Raja Malewa, IPGK Pulau Pinang, IPGK Tawau, recently obtained the Certificate of Excellence from the International Counseling Association of Malaysia in the 22nd National Counseling Convention. Perkama International highly emphasizes empowering individuals in the counseling fields apart from empowering organizations. The element of success in empowering a learning society for sustainability through quality education lie in the success of learning in educational institutions. Peter Senge, in his book, The Fifth Discipline, stated there are 5 essential elements to success as follows. 1. Improving the quality of education and self-knowledge. Applying this in the Malaysian context, direct involvement in enhancing soft skills in academics and morals is essential to be studied as outlined in social sciences, humanities, and linguistics. 2. Employing the mental method. This mental method, through STEM education, grooms individuals who can solve the problems they face and formulate a good plan to apply in their life. 3. Encouraging independent problem solving through individual and group learning. The element of encouraging independent problem solving can be seen in the papers presented in this ICTLD. For example, a study on using problem-based learning or PBL for cognitive development in primary school physical education reiterates students' participation in learning the problem-solving skills to meet the current and future needs of individuals in line with the national education philosophy of Malaysia. 4. Implementing the concept of goal sharing or partnership goals among students. In the Malaysian scenario, this element is emphasized through the collection of essential goals because educational policy needs change and evolution to secure an education system that is sustainable and holistic. 5. Engaging the system of thinking leads to discussion to improve the organization and apply knowledge to benefit all parties. For this element, the IPGM sets the example by obtaining the Educational Organization Management System Certification or ISO 21001-2018 from CIRIM QS International in June this year. This certification supports the development of competence through teaching, learning, or research, regardless of the type, size, or method of delivery. The 5 essential elements to the success of learning in educational institution can be related to the conference objectives. Sharing expertise and knowledge on teacher education among practitioners help generate good practices and innovation in teacher education based on research. This sharing also creates and strengthens network and collaboration in teacher education research and generates aspiration for lifelong learning. To do this, the IPG has strengthened its role in forging learning partnership by playing a significant role in implementing KPPB practices in IPG, which is in accordance to the new narrative of educational practice 2019. In addition, the IPG supports KPPB practice in schools as an elite partner through the TS25 program, designed towards producing teachers with teachers' essence or Guru Berjiwa Pendidik, which is in line with the IPG's mission. In conclusion, learning is critical to our world's future, yet our education systems are currently facing unprecedented challenges. I've long held that the theme of this conference, empowering the learning society for sustainability through quality education, is indeed a great equalizer in life. The knowledge explosion driven by the power of the learning society has connected humans worldwide only at their fingertips, spread ideas, and changed the very nature of learning. We need to embrace new approaches from non-traditional sources and foster truly open and collaborative partnerships between the public, private, and non-profit sectors. In addition, those responsible learning guides must constantly move beyond their comfort zones and continually innovate to to anticipate the needs of learners as the world around them changes. People need to learn and relearn throughout their lives, develop new models of learning, both formal and informal, that meets the demands of knowledge-driven societies in this information age, to affirm and sustain quality education. So this concludes the focus of my keynote today. There are many ways we can make an impact on the world, but there is no greater impact that we can make than spreading education and empowering people who will empower and teach people who, in turn, will power and teach others. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Yang Berbahagia, Dr. RAFEE bin Cik KASSIM, for that comprehensive view on learning society. It is an honor to have you grace our conference today. Ladies and gentlemen, with that speech, we have reached the end of our keynote speaker session for ICTLD 2021. Before we proceed to the next session, I would like to invite all participants to fill in the conference evaluation survey form for this conference. The link is given in the chat section. We really value your feedback. Thus, we do appreciate your time to fill in the form. Now, I would like to invite everyone to our next parallel session 3. It will start at 3:30 p.m. We have 7 rooms, and we do hope that you will enjoy the session. Stay safe and have a great day. Thank you.
satu tu kan. Satu. Satu.